something that serendipitously happened for things are going on, and then you can say something like, oh, but I want to experience awe. I want to experience a deeper sense of cohesion and connection. I want to cultivate gratitude. So all the studies out of UC Berkeley and other universities around the country have shown that when we move into gratitude, the endorphins of wellness start to release themselves. We start to feel the dopamine, which releases from the brain, and it's that feel-good energy. You know, what does dopamine do? It brings about enthusiasm. That's one of the hormones that gets released. One of the other ones is serotonin. Serotonin gets released primarily from the gut, but also a little bit from the brain. And that energy comes forward as wellness. It actually brings forward wellness. Serotonin getting released from your gut, and you'll notice if you start to become aware, if you tap into your clairsentience, where you're aware and you can feel and observe what's going on in my life, you'd be like, oh wow, there's no more like tightness, there's no more butterflies, there's no more, if you're aware of your breathing. Somebody once asked me, well, how do you know? How can you check the barometer of where you are in surrendering to the higher frequencies? One of the easiest things you'll do is just check your breathing. When you take an inhalation, where do you feel it come down to? Does it come to here? Does it come to here? Does it come to here? Now, we technically know the lungs are about the bottom of the rib cage. Does it feel like it comes down to your belly button or your root? If you're breathing to here, life force, homeostasis is not optimum. So you then get to say, oh, I'm only breathing to my collarbone. I'm in shallow breathing, which means to an extent, I'm in a fight or flight response. For what reasons, I may not know. Most of us go through the days and the weeks, and we just have a rinse and repeat type way of going through life, where it's like, I just do what I do, and I have my same reactions, because why? Because, again, studies and research have shown that we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Every one of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts that circulates through your consciousness is an opportunity to change. You came here to transform. You didn't come here to have a passive existence and just be victimized by whatever comes your way. You came here to transform. It requires choice. Choice got you into things. Choice will get you out of things. Choice, when accompanied by providence, inspiration. Your ego is going to get you into a situation. Your soul is going to get you out of the situation. If you leave it to your ego, which got you into the situation, then you're going to experience what Einstein said. Trying to solve the problem at the level it was created is insanity. You're going to generally, when we try to solve it at the level of our surface mind, we're just going to be in a state of frustration. You will get some mileage out of using your surface mind for some things, but you're really looking to be inspired. And inspired means I'm going to sit, I'm going to invite, I'm going to allow inspiration to have its way. I'm going to allow myself to assess, address, and bless what's going on in my life. I assess, where am I in gratitude? And then I say, oh, and where am I on the spectrum of gratitude? Oh, if I've been hanging out down here, well, that's really good. Oh, that is wonderful. Now I'm going to expand to a higher sense of gratitude and allow not only that dopamine and that serotonin, but the oxytocin to release into your bloodstream. Isn't it amazing that you have a whole pharmaceutical company in your body, and that when you choose, as opposed to like going into that fight or flight where cortisol, which creates the stress and fight or flight response, which tightens everything, basically if you just wanted to simplify it, when you're in a fear, in a fight or flight response, you're going to move into a tense place, and that restricts the flow of energy. When you move into the lightness of the feeling of gratitude, the energy starts to flow. When energy is flowing, the natural circadian rhythms take care of themselves. They know the energy that is moving through your body is self-directing and self-regulating if you don't get in the way. If you allow the divine providential awareness that is back of what brought these bodies into form, if you allow, so we were talking at the first part of the month, you can kind of see the month has been coalescing to today, to today's gratitude message, where it's like, my hope here, my desire, my intention is that everyone's going to say, oh, I am in, I'm going to allow myself to go deeper into gratitude. I'm going to the high end of the spectrum to be in awe so that I can be awe-inspired. And we know, so the other parts of the studies done at UC Berkeley is not only do you get to experience that euphoria that comes through as feeling good, but when you start to feel good, and all of a sudden, all those ideas that would have kept you at bay from your good start to dissolve. Your life is not bound by your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Your body of affairs is synced and linked right in with your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Whatever is going on, so if we go to basic law of attraction, cause and effect, karmic energy, what I'm holding in my vibratory field, my morphogenetic field, the electromagnetic field of my energy body is what I'm going to attract. So if I'm bathing in, we all know this, we know if I'm bathing in things that I'm grateful for, I will have more to be grateful for because that's what it's attracting. But I'm going to say, in addition to that, bump the needle up. Get to a place where you can just be in awe. What does that require? That requires that you say, what is it that takes me and makes me in that state of awe? What can I do to be in that state of awe? Now, often here's the paradox. If you think that things out there, now there are things out there, going out into nature, being in the negative ions of plants and forests and waterfalls or oceans, that automatically, if you allow yourself to relax, oftentimes, every once in a while on the daily affirmative prayer, like, oh, not going to be there because I'm going to be out in nature this morning. And so won't be on any technology. And what is happening? There's something that will automatically, but I notice oftentimes when I go hiking, a lot of people are like, da, 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 or they're just like, blah, 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 and they're bringing the temporal world with them. They're bringing anxiety and stress with them out into nature. And the good thing is that nature has a vibrational field that cannot be tainted by us. We might think if we look at the world right now and we say, whether you believe in global warming or you don't, whether you believe that people are having an effect negatively on the planet or they don't, we could, if we set off an atomic bomb or a nuclear bomb and we obliterated life on planet Earth, planet Earth's going to be just fine. Planet Earth knows how to come right back. If you ever watched that show, I think it was like something like What Happens Beyond When Humanity's Not Here Anymore. And they take a city, and it's like, okay, LA in 2025, no more people, poof. And within 20 years, it becomes unrecognizable. Within 100 years, you don't see any buildings, you don't see any concrete, all the vines, all the weather, all the earthquakes, everything has brought everything back to the beginning. Nature knows how to coalesce and bring about goodness. There's no problem about worrying about Mother Earth. Mother Earth is just fine. Our experience on Mother Earth that's what you might want to be concerning yourself with, in a way that says, I'm going to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And spiritual selfishness, this is the best part, spiritual selfishness, which is selfless, which means if I move into gratitude, I'm automatically going to be kind. If I move into forgiveness, I'm automatically going to be a beneficial presence. If I move into serving others, which is a byproduct of gratitude, things are good. I am a beneficial presence. Spiritual selfishness means I am fed and everybody around me gets fed too. As opposed to egoic selfishness, which means I've got to grab and hoard and do all these things. No, you're moving into a place where you're going to say, I'm going to move from a passive experience into an active experience of gratitude in my life. I'm going to allow myself to put myself in awe. I'm going to allow myself, what brings me there? What takes me into a place of awe? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set an intention that I'm going to allow it to be sincere. I'm going to allow myself to move into a place like, not only, most of us think of gratitude like, oh, these things happened to me. Oh, I'm so grateful for that. How about the other side of the coin? What can I do that somebody will be grateful for? Being of service is the flip side of the gratitude coin. I'm going to do something where I want to see somebody else be like, oh my God, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for what you've done. Or just for your beingness. Oftentimes, it's just being there, listening, without judgment, without condemnation, without opinions. It's just being a loving presence. So when we move into and understand what it means in Scripture, when it says the eye is the lamp of the body, and if your eye be bright, your whole life be fruitful and lighted. What does that mean? It means as I bring my consciousness into a lightness of being, transcending space and time, where inspiration and enthusiasm illuminate my days, where I allow providence from my soul, not because of some dogmatic teachings that say you got to do this. You're going to find your way. In our community, we will say like, oh, well, we could try this, and we can try that. And we're going to find a way where it's the Goldilocks approach to spirituality. Oh, I tried this practice. I tried this one. It's a little better. And, this one's just right. We're going to Goldilocks our way into a place where you say, this is really good. And this is the part that everyone's going to come against at one point or another. You're going to come across resistance. You're going to be like, I just don't want to do that. I know I should do it, but I don't want to do it. I'm tired. I need to rest today. The kind of rest you seek does not come from sleeping. It comes from enlightenment. Enlightenment is what you're allowing yourself to expose yourself to. What are the secrets of prosperity? What are the secrets of wellness? What are the secrets of sacred, holy relationships? And then allow yourself to use those transitional frequencies of gratitude and forgiveness to bridge the gap and bring it from this airy-fairy concept of like, I've already heard all the research. I know all that. But have you started to embody it? Have you started to integrate it into your bones and beingness? And you're going to integrate it in a way that is soft and gentle. You're going to move past the complexity bias. Right now, too many people are making things too complex. We call it in the biz. In the biz, we call it when somebody starts getting into their story. That means that there's a situation going on. So-and-so is doing this, and it's really pissing me off. And I'm right because they disrespected me. And so I'm giving you all the reasons and all the excuses and all the stories of why it is the way it is. I'm getting into a complexity bias where it's like, am I putting in this situation, what I'm saying, if I assess it, is what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, thinking and what I'm doing in alignment with transformation and transmutation? Or is it just regurgitation? Am I regurgitating something that's just going to get me more of that? If you have excuses, if you have reasons, there is nothing beyond your capacity of transmutation. You do not need anybody else's permission. You do not need anybody else's authority. You only need yours. When you say, I'm going to explore. I just got the diagnosis of whatever it is. And the prognosis of the diagnosis is this. These are the statistics. Remember, statistics based on diagnosis of prognosis are tied to things that have happened to other people. They are tied to things that have already happened in space and time. Those people maybe didn't participate in their conscious evolution. So you're going to say, isn't that interesting what the diagnosis and the prognosis is? I am going to seek and find and know that in God all things are made new. I want to know what that's like. I want to know what it's like in this diagnosis. I want to know what it's like in this relationship. I want to know what it's like in my business to bring it to the next level of success and prosperity. I want to know. And I'm going to move into a place of gratitude. And yes, sometimes it starts out, we're like, I'm being grateful for little things here and there. And if you notice that I'm just going through the rote repetitions is like, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for this, and just take an inventory. Where are you on the needle of awe? Am I in just a rote place of regard, or am I at a high frequency? And then say, my intention, I tell you, I love, one of my favorite things in the world is being overwhelmed with gratitude. If you feel into gratitude, you're going to feel the love, the appreciation, and the faith well up, and that becomes real. And when it becomes real, you will experience transformation. And when you experience transformation, what is it everybody wants? If you're having a difficult time in a relationship, and if I get into my story, I'm not participating in transmutation or transformation or forgiveness. I'm participating in regurgitation. But if I'm like, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to happen. I've heard, set healthy boundaries. No. You might be able to use those and get some mileage out of that, but you want to move into a place where, what do you get? What does it look like? Fully healed, fully transformed, fully realized. That's what you want to do. We want to make sure. So I'm just going to invite you right now, as we prepare to